Hello. So this is a little bit different. This is my webcam instead of my phone. So what you're about to see is the Jessie James house that I filmed in 2008, and I do a little bit of narration. It's what I did was I pulled all my videos from my Creepy Chick 13 channel, and I realized, nobody's gonna see them except for me. So I thought the Jessie James house was a pretty interesting little tour. So take a look. Let me know what you think. I'll see you at the end. Okay, so finally I'm doing the Jessie James Home tour. The sign says that that's the Jessie James home, and he was shot and killed in that house on April 3rd, 1882. The next thing you're going to hear is the narrator telling the story of Jessie's death.
On April 3rd, Jessie was in this room with two gang members, Bob and Charles Ford, making plans to rob the Platte City Bank the next day. Jessie noticed the needle point on the wall was crooked. Because it was a warm morning and the door was open, he took off his gun so neighbors wouldn't see them. Then he climbed on a chair to straighten the picture. It was the chance the Fords had been waiting to collect a $10,000 reward offered by Governor Tom Crittenden. Jessie fell to the floor dead. Only Bob fired. The bullet entered behind his right ear, and some believe it came out over the left eye, even the legendary bullet hole. Researchers now think the bullet did not leave Jessie's head. The Fords sent a telegram to the governor and then surrendered to City Marshal Enos Craig. But instead of collecting a reward, the Fords were charged with murder and were sentenced to hang. It was away into the attic and out onto the back porch roof. Note the unusual love seat by the door. Gentlemen used the backrest, and ladies romancing had no place to lean but into their lover's arms.
Okay, so now we're going into the next room, and I decided to mute the actual sound because there was a child crying and stuff in the background. But this is the evolution of the Jessie James home, and apparently it was moved from its original location on this hill, and they moved it to St. Joseph, Missouri. And that's, they're moving it. Okay, now they're lowering it onto its current location. And that's kind of what it looks like to begin with. And some more pictures down at the bottom are pictures of it now. And this is the sentencing of Bob and Charles Ford. Bob was the one that shot Jessie James, and people considered him a coward. They were actually pardoned, but Bob was assassinated or killed by somebody who apparently liked Jessie. There's my husband right there, and you saw him a little earlier. And Charles killed himself because I'm only assuming that he felt guilty about what had happened. These are some of the portraits of Jessie James that somebody drew, and if you notice, he does not smile in any of them. And there's a little bit of a story on the other wall that I'll show in just a second. Going over my husband's head right there. He's a tall guy. So you see no smiling, no smiling, no smiling, lots of not smiling, and I like the last one the best, I think. This right here is, they actually, hello, there's my husband again, they actually exhumed Jessie's body, and my understanding is they did that to prove that it was actually him in the grave and not somebody else, because I think I know of at least one person who claimed that they were Jessie James, and this right here supposedly proved that Jessie was actually dead and buried. And that's some more pictures of them exhuming the grave, the casket. More pictures of that, and this is next is showing his third funeral. So there's that. There you go. Next, we see what I was talking about before, which is the reason why he never smiled. And apparently he was missing an upper front tooth, and they found a lot of gold filling, so he was not afraid of the dentist. This is what interested me the most, I think, which was the viewing. That was the viewing glass that you saw, part of his casket that was first exhumed, and it was all broken and stuff. This is a bullet that was taken from his right lung, and you'll see there it says this is not the bullet that killed him. And next you'll see pictures of him dead and his tie pin. And then around this viewing glass you'll see hardware from his original casket, which was pretty interesting to me. There's kind of a wide shot of that. And next, over here, you see a casting of his skull, and they did this to show where the bullet went in and where it came out. And that little pink thing sticking out is supposedly where it went in. Below, on the base of that, you'll see some castings of his teeth, and according to the sign, his teeth were pretty worn down. There's a sign on the bottom too. His teeth were pretty worn down, and they blame that either on bad chewing tobacco, cheap chewing tobacco, or a lifestyle that caused him to grit his teeth a lot. So I'll have that myself. When I'm exhumed, somebody will find my teeth are worn down. I just thought this was kind of interesting. I think it's a family tree somewhat. Just some pictures, some portraits or whatever of his family, some artifacts from his family. Just thought that case was pretty interesting. Had some interesting information in there. Apparently I didn't read the information, but it looked very interesting to me. Alright, next, that is supposedly his wife, Zoe. And a book written by his brother Frank called Jessie James, My Brother. And there's, I know that's Jessie on the left, and I think that's Frank on the right. And these are items that were found behind the bullet hole, and what was interesting was, you know, the bullet hole started out the size of a bullet hole. Well, over the years, people were picking at it and had to touch it and all this other stuff. And if you notice, there was glass over the bullet hole, and the reason is because of all the people picking and touching and wanting a souvenir. It just wore away at the thing over time, and so now it's giant. But these were some of the things that people dropped into the hole, which I thought was sort of strange that somebody would want to do that. But I guess they wanted to leave a piece of themselves with Jessie instead of taking a piece of Jessie with them. Strange little doll there. Here's the bed that's in what I guess they're assuming was the bedroom. And here's a guy that it's somebody's great-grandfather's, Jessie's I don't know. Anyway, sorry, not the historian here, but I just thought that picture was cool. And then this is a dresser that's in there, and a handmade feather picture, which I also found interesting. And some chick over there, I don't know who that was. And then here's the Jessie James family after Jessie's death. And there's a lock of his mother's hair. 1893 is when they got that from her. Some pictures of his family members. And some, looks like maybe a diary and some books. And I didn't read any of this stuff. I thought this was interesting, 1842. I like really old things, but apparently I found it more interesting. Oh, this is the last will of Frank James. That's what this is. And I find it more interesting to look at the things than read what they actually are and be sort of informative to you guys. I thought that that particular book's cover was pretty cool. And just some more artifacts and things. The bed again, a little closer up on the quilt. Okay, so we're outside of the Patty House Museum. Hi, dear. Yeah. And the Jessie James Home, which we just saw. And there's husband walking around. And here's me smoking a cigarette outside. See how this carousel thing goes. Supposedly there's a carousel somewhere around here. Have to see what that's about. And yeah, I'm smacking my gum. Alright, so what did you think? Leave me a comment if you have any sort of interest in Jessie James. I actually watched a documentary about Jessie James the other day on Wild West History on YouTube. I'll leave a link to that channel down below. They have a few different things, but what really interested me and what I really like is the Wyatt Earp one. That's what brought me there. I'm very interested in Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. So maybe one day I'll do something to do with those guys. I love the movie Tombstone. I've watched it a million times. I quote it a lot. So, all right. That's it for your Way Back Wednesday. That's what I'm going to call this one because it was taken way back for sure. And maybe one day I'll post one. Well, I just did my tattoo one where you saw me. But maybe I'll post another one where you can see how goofy I have always been. All right, have a good night or good day or whatever, wherever you are, and I will talk to you later. Bye.